My name is India Fly, and I visit a mosque for my visit presentation. And the reason why I visit a mosque is because whenever I was asking my coaches of different churches than Christianity that's around Indianapolis, I'm on the women's basketball team, by the way. Whenever I was asking them to help me out, they had sent me a list of churches to call up to set something up, but the places I had called from them, they didn't return my calls, and so um, my professor in my other class, Dr. Scott, he had helped me out with like a dozen other ones, and so I called all of them, and this place called Al Hikmah Islamic Center hit me back in like 20 minutes. Um, the pastor, he has said I could come in on the next day at 8, and they have prayers at 9 p.m. to 11, so I could also sit on that too. And so his name was Al Ghasim Ba. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I had asked him like 2 or 3 times for the pronunciation, and I put them in like little parentheses. It's spelled Algassim and then Bah. So Algassim Ba. That's what I'm pretty sure that's how he was saying it. Um, Whenever he was helping me pronounce the name of the church, which is Al Hikmah, he was telling me that word, it means wisdom in Arabic. And so I thought that was interesting. It's a new mosque to the community, so it's only been up for like 3 years, they said. Um, they have about 500 members. It's growing, so they get new members of the community or church every day, every week, however you want to put it. They accept everybody, so Muslims, Nigerians, Paks, Indians, Christians, everyone. They just accept. They don't discriminate. They welcome everybody into their home church. Um, he says some of the members, their jobs are like Uber drivers, green cab drivers, airport drivers, bankers, and mall workers too. Basically, like in the mall, they have their own little stands in the middle of the mall, and like they could be jewelers or selling pictures, just anything. What I also thought was interesting was some of the workers work in the White House also. So that's very interesting that they go all the way to DC to work in the White House, and then they come to the mosque to be a part of their religion church. Um, he was telling me like Fridays are like Sundays for Christians, which is very interesting because I thought they had the same, like every religion goes on Sundays just like Christians. And so when he was explaining to me that Fridays are for Muslims, I was like, oh wow. Um, what is it called? I forgot how to say this word. It's like sabeti. Basically, he was telling me that means it cuts off. They cut off from all day jobs and focus on their religions on Fridays. So whenever they come into their church, they're only focusing on their religion and what they have to do for their community and stuff. Um, what else? He was explaining to me about how they got their their religion to be, on Fridays instead of Sundays, and it was like he was explaining something like um, they had worked. His God has worked on Sunday all the way up until Friday, but their God never gets tired, and stuff like that. So, um, there are children that are like 20 to 25. They're born in the U.S., but the older people like him and the other parents and just other older members are usually immigrants. They also have two leaders. They have a religious leader and they have a community leader. The reason why they have two leaders is because not only Muslims there um, are a part of their religion, and so the community leader is a Christian because they're supposed to welcome all members into their community, and so their religious leader is Muslim. Um, he had used an example like they have their religious leader helps with like if someone passes away, then it's a contribution that they do together. They they organize it wherever if they want them to be buried here in Indianapolis or if they want to be buried back at home or wherever they're from or wherever they want them to be buried, then they run that through the religious leader and they'll help coordinate that so that could happen. Um, what else is there? The man that I was talking to, he he covers the prayers in the prayer times, and he makes lectures, and it's under his control. So basically, he also does if you have a like if somebody in their religion or church or whatever, if they have a baby and you pick the baby's name that you would like, then 7 days from the baby's born, he'll conduct the baby's name for you. And so you just give him, I guess, like a list of names or whatever, and during that process, from when the baby is born until 7 days apart, he'll have the baby's name ready for to be given to you. What else? They also, whenever somebody gets married and you have to go wherever you want to get married at. He conducts the religious part of the marriage, and um, they have this thing called Ramadan. It passed about 2 months ago. He said they will fast for 29 days. 29 days, from dawn to sunset. They don't eat, drink, any not communication, like sexual behaviors to their spouse. No music. You don't talk evil. Anything unlawful isn't accepted during them times. Basically, he said it's everything controlled from the body is what is accepted in from dawn to sunset. Um, he said in 12 days they have fifth pillars of Muslim. I can't say it. It's like pillar Hajj. It's Hajj. I can't pronounce that. It means visiting the Black House in Mecca. Different mosques come together for that. Like he was saying, just all around from like different parts of India, different parts of Ohio, or just all around the states, the surrounding states, they'll come together for that Micah and be together. My fault for that. The fifth pillar. They speak Arabic and English in their church. Basically, it'll be 80% English, 20% Arabic. They'll have someone who is fluent in English will lead that section. Uh, they don't use instruments. They don't do any guitars, pianos, singing from the mouth, just anything. He said they they glorify God with their tongue, basically, rather than with instruments and musical and vocals like that. Um, religious gathering. Uh, Whenever he was talking about the wardrobes they have to wear, I thought that was quite interesting because he was saying for the males they get to have the only thing they have to get covered is this part and then down to like their knees, like right to here. So from right here all the way to here, it has to be covered, and it can cut off right here too, right at the forearms. Yeah, so at the forearms is where it could cut off to that, but all only thing has to be covered is this to here, and to a little bit underneath the knees. Um, what was it? But for the females, like they have to have all this covered. They have to have all the way down to their ankles covered, and then cut off at the wrist. So everything has to be covered. Sometimes they said